Now, Extinction Rebellion activists have smashed windows at HSBC's headquarters in East London. The Earth Day protest at the Canary Wharf branch was staged to draw attention to the bank's links to the fossil fuel industry. 9 women took part in the protest wearing patches with the words "Better broken windows than broken promises." Well, I'm joined now by Zoe Cohen, who is a member of Extinction Rebellion, or I'm hoping to be there. Hello, Zoe, good to see you. I want to start by saying Happy Earth Day and just get your feelings about whether or not it is a good day, a positive day, given the commitments that we've seen from the President's Earth Day summit being hosted from Washington today.
Thanks, Isabel. Good to be here. Well, Happy Earth Day. I mean, to me, every day is Earth Day, because what is a day that isn't Earth Day, frankly? We need this Earth to survive. So, of course, these commitments are an improvement, but they're far, far from what we need to see.
OK, and so then let's talk about the slashing 19, I think it was, or at least 19 glass windows this morning at HSBC. A lot of people will think that that's just pure vandalism.
Oh, it's far, far from vandalism, Isabel. I mean, it's very thought through, calm, direct action. Peaceful, direct action. And it's peaceful because it is proportionate and it is done with great care to not harm any life. And we really need to get in perspective, damaging a little bit of glass with the enormous harm that's being done to life on Earth. And people are dying and suffering now. 200 species are going extinct today. We need to really get this in perspective with a little bit of glass.
OK, but I mean, a lot of people are alienated sometimes, aren't they, by the actions that Extinction Rebellion take? I mean, seeing them wielding chisels and hammers in Canary Wharf this morning at 7 o'clock and women being taken off into police vans will perhaps make people question whether you have to use gimmicks to get your message across, if that's the best that you can do.
Gosh, it's far from a gimmick, Isabel. I mean, we're building on or taking from that brave tradition of the suffragettes and the Chartists before them. So it's far from a gimmick. It's these are actions of very caring, considerate activists who are thinking deeply about what they're doing and bringing a lot of care and love. And it is about proportionate actions. If you think about it, and let's connect with why these women are doing this. So, the executives of HSBC and the other banks that fund fossil fuels. So HSBC has spent $87 billion on fossil fuel investments since the Paris Agreement. So that's in the full knowledge of the harm that they're doing and the life chances of future generations and current generations that they are reducing. And that is called business. And they get bonuses for doing that, I guess, however they calculate their bankers' bonuses. They get bonuses for doing that. The women who are calling this behaviour out and who are trying to increase the life chances of life on Earth and their own children, other people's children, they get called criminals, and they get, they get the consequences of that action from our judicial system. But the people who bring this harm about get bonuses. It's madness. The system is madness.
OK, well, I have to give the statement that HSBC put out, just in the interest of fairness. They say, "We welcome meaningful dialogue on our climate strategy. However, we cannot condone violence or actions that put people and property at risk. We have an ambition to be net zero by 2030 and to bring our financed emissions to net zero by 2050. They go on to say, "We have also committed to set out short and medium-term transition targets and to phase out the financing of coal-fired power and thermal coal mining by 2040 globally. We remain committed to supporting our customers in their transition to net zero." These things don't happen overnight.
Well, actually, I mean, I don't know where to start with all of that, to be honest, Isabel. There is so much to go out there. In terms of what can happen overnight, we just need to look at what governments were able to do with the pandemic. They did many things across the world that were deemed impossible, and they just made them happen. Bringing the aircraft out of the sky, bringing all sorts of financial and other changes in. These things were deemed impossible, and they were made possible. An enormous amount of things are possible when there's political will. We know that now. We've seen it over the last year. So, I think it's very clear to many of us in in Extinction Rebellion and our movement of movements across the world, that this 2050ism, as we call it, is the new denial. So what does a target of 30 years away actually mean? No executives or politicians in role now are going to take any notice of something that's 30 years away. It's not real. We need action this year, next year. We need targets now. We need to know what's going to happen.
I think, go on. I was going to say, a lot of people, I'm sure, will share your sentiments and your intentions, which are, to sort out the climate crisis. But I wonder, and I point to particularly Prince William, who, along with a number of figureheads, has written to the Times today, talking about the need for a can-do spirit. And I would argue perhaps a more positive strategy when it comes to tackling the problem. He wrote today, a lot of people actually want to do many good things for the environment, but what they need is a bit of a catalyst, a bit of hope. And of course, he's come up with the Earthshot Prize, a $50 million prize for the best ideas. I mean, isn't a bit of positivity what we need to try and inspire people to tackle this, rather than perhaps hammers and chisels?
I think we need truth, Isabel. We need truth. We need to treat citizens like adults. We need to give people the truth, and the hope comes from real action. So the grand words are not matched by the deeds. That's one of the sayings of the suffragettes, wasn't it? Deeds, not words. And we get a lot of words from corporations and dignitaries and politicians, but the actions don't match. And we have that here in the UK, don't we? We have grand words, but the actions do not match. So we have the Public Accounts Committee in this country saying that 2 years on from Parliament declaring a climate and environmental emergency, this government has no plan, no actual plan to meet net zero. So it says stuff and it does another thing. And it's investing 27 billion in a massive road building project. It's spending well over 100 billion on HS2, a huge deforestation project. It's subsidising fossil fuels. It's bailing out dirty industries. It's cutting aid from overseas aid to help people adapt to climate breakdown. So you have to look at what they're actually doing, and it's a million miles away from the words that they're speaking.
OK, Zoe Cohen from Extinction Rebellion, good to get your thoughts this afternoon. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thanks, Isabel.